Hi, and thanks for watching. I'm Randy Russell, Director of Certification at Red Hat, and I'm here to tell you about remote exams. Remote exams are a new option for taking certification exams at the time and place of your choosing. Before I tell you about remote exams, I should start by telling you a bit about Red Hat training and certification. Red Hat training exists to help customers, partners, and associates gain the real-world technical skills they need to work with Red Hat technologies. Red Hat certification provides validation that someone has the skills and knowledge needed to use Red Hat technologies in production. We do that by using rigorous hands-on testing in which certification candidates must demonstrate proficiency by actually putting the technologies to use. You can choose to train without pursuing certification, and you can pursue certification without taking our training. However, the sweet spot is to combine both of these along with our skills assessments in advance of beginning your learning journey. Assess, train, validate. That's our recommended route to success with Red Hat's products. A study by IDC showed just how much impact this approach can have, and you see some examples here. So what does Red Hat certification do for me? Red Hat certification can help you if you are managing a technical team using Red Hat products. It can simplify hiring by helping you identify qualified candidates with the skills you need. It can help you benchmark the skills on your team, mitigating the risk of failed or delayed projects. That same IDC study reports that Red Hat certified professionals ramp up faster, perform better, and stick with their employers longer. Certification helps partners ensure their teams are ready and able to deliver the solutions and services our shared customers need. Organizations often seek out service and solution providers with certified personnel, and these can sometimes be requirements in requests for proposals and government tenders. A certified team can also differentiate your organization as a partner from other providers. If you're in sales, encouraging your customers to use certification to benchmark skills will create a base of advocates and enthusiasts at your accounts. You'll be helping them succeed in their use of Red Hat products, and you'll be helping them better manage their team. As a manager once told me, I used to troubleshoot systems. Now I troubleshoot people. You're going to be helping them troubleshoot their teams and ensure that they perform at a high level. Let's turn our attention now to the exams that people take in order to earn certification. Red Hat's offered 3 approaches to taking exams for some years now. You can enroll in an open enrollment public event delivered in a classroom, or an organization can bring Red Hat in to conduct a private classroom exam for just its personnel, often in conjunction with associated training. It's also been an option that you can take an individual exam at one of the testing centers that offer Red Hat exams worldwide. We are now offering a new approach, and that's what I'll be telling you more about. Remote exams are delivered online at your home, office, or another location. In August 2020, Red Hat will make at least 7 certification exams available for remote delivery. These exams lead to the certifications at the heart of the Red Hat certification program. Linux is at the center of everything. So Red Hat Certified System Administrator is one of the first exams we are offering. Automation has become a critical skill, and Ansible is how Red Hat does automation across multiple products. Red Hat Certified Engineer and the older Red Hat Certified Specialist in Ansible Automation both demonstrate proficiency in Ansible. And of course, containers, Kubernetes, and OpenShift are the deployment model of the present and the future. So our OpenShift Administrator and Application Developer certifications will also be among our first offered as remote exams. The first obvious question about remote exams is, how do they work? There are several functions and components that make remote exams possible. First, there are remote labs, by which I mean cloud-based systems on which people will do the work required in the exams. Remember, All Red Hat certification exams are hands-on, so we need to provide a comparable working environment to the one you would use in a classroom or in a testing center exam. You would need to be able to schedule your exam. You'll do this using the same scheduler we provide for testing center exams. I'll describe that in greater detail later in this video. Remote observation of people taking exams, remote proctoring, is another critical component. We do this for testing center exams as well, and I'll have more to say about that in a moment. And last, there is a live exam environment that people run on their own system that provides access to the exam contents and the remote labs. These might be things you're unfamiliar with, so let me provide a little bit more detail. Red Hat was one of the first IT certification programs to use remote proctoring. But backing up a moment, all exams are monitored by somebody, with classroom exams being monitored by someone physically present. A remote proctor observes using one or more webcams. In the picture, you'll see the actual workspace of one of our remote proctors actively proctoring several exams in different locations concurrently. Red Hat is unique in that it has its own remote proctoring infrastructure and proctoring team. We believe these provide a better customer experience and also allow us greater ability to innovate. The proctor's job, to be blunt, is to prevent people from cheating and to catch them when they try to. You might wonder whether it makes that much of a difference whether people cheat on exams or not. It does. Certification is supposed to represent what a person can do unassisted, not with the assistance of someone on chat or some cheat sheets or whatever. We cannot deliver those benefits I described earlier if underqualified people are able to pass our exams. Cheating puts our customers at risk. They might make hiring or management decisions based on someone's certification status. If they hire someone who cheated, they might find that he or she is not as qualified as they expected. Not only does that impact the organization, it deteriorates the Red Hat brand. However, in addition to being monitors and enforcers, proctors are also our customer service representatives in what are almost always stressful situations for the customer, even when things are going well. We are talking about exams after all. Another component of remote exam delivery that might not be familiar, and that is unique to Red Hat remote exams, is the live exam environment. In order to understand this component, it helps to understand how test delivery vendors deliver exams for other certification programs. Some vendors will provide a URL to examinees, which when accessed will put their browser in full screen mode. Others might have a special browser application or browser plugin. Here's the thing though. When it comes to controlling what is done on a computer, the operating system always trumps the application. Opening a browser in full screen mode does not lock a computer down. The system in the photo displays what can happen with these other approaches. In one display, there's the supposedly lockdown system, meaning a browser in full screen mode. In the other window, another browser window is open to a site dedicated to helping people cheat on certification exams. Our approach is to provide a full operating system tailored specifically for the purpose of delivering exams. We do this using a live environment. A live environment is one that boots from a medium like a USB thumb drive and loads the entire operating system into memory, into RAM, rather than accessing all the files, executables, and so on from a hard drive. Fedora is available as a live environment, and that's what the live environment exam system is based on. We have modified the operating system such that it can only be used to test compatibility of the hardware and network for remote exams or to take a remote exam. This approach provides important advantages. Because we are providing everything, there are no unknowns when it comes to what's running on someone's computer. We don't need to worry about which version of which operating system they're running. It's irrelevant because we aren't running it, we're running ours. We don't need to worry about which browser and release they're running. It's irrelevant. They're running ours. And the live environment strictly limits what exam takers can do on their systems while taking exams. No Googling, chatting with the outside, checking stash notes on the file system. But bear in mind, none of the things that they actually have on their system that are installed will ever be affected by this. Their usual operating system will still be intact. We're not going to touch anything on it. So let's talk about the steps for taking a remote exam in broad terms. Now that you know a little bit more about the components, I can describe the process. So first, you download a bootable ISO image. This image is available to anyone, no purchase necessary. We would rather have people identify the suitability of their hardware and network before they purchase. Once you have the image, you burn the image to a USB drive. A typical USB 2.0 thumb drive with enough storage will do just fine. An external webcam is required, even if your computer is a laptop with one built into it. The reason is that we do 360-degree scans of the room before and during exams and might need to view the workspace from a variety of angles. People can be ingenious in their attempts to cheat, so we need the external camera to try and quash those efforts. Okay, so next, you boot into the live environment. Once booted, you are running a specialized version of Fedora, and you will be given the option of taking a scheduled exam or running the compatibility tester. Again, we want and expect people to help lay the groundwork for a successful exam delivery by running the compatibility tester first. We'll also ask them to run it after they've purchased and have scheduled their exam. We want to make sure. Now, we're providing documentation on how to create the bootable USB and use it on a variety of hardware. Some people might need a hand, however, so we're also providing a discussion on the Red Hat learning community to try and provide pre-exam support to people. All right, so once you have purchased your exam or you have enrolled in it through Red Hat Learning subscription, you're ready to schedule your exam. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit more about the scheduler in a minute. At the appointed day and hour, the time that you chose, you boot into the live environment and you log in. A remote proctor will contact you via chat, we'll check your ID, and we'll get you started with your exam. And then you spend 3 or 4 joyful hours with your Red Hat certification exam. When you're done, it's really simple. Reboot and disconnect the USB drive. Your system will reboot into its usual operating system, which will be completely unaffected by having run the live environment. You see, not only does this approach provide exam security, meaning that we try to limit cheating, it also provides security for the examinee. Personally, I would not want to install something on my computer's operating system that purports to lock down or control the system. That sounds more like a virus or a Trojan. With the live environment, we're using RAM and CPU. Your personal or corporate stuff, the stuff on your hard drive, we're not even going to touch it. In fact, you could even remove that hard drive if you wanted, and it wouldn't make a difference. So let's now talk about scheduling. This is the candidate dashboard in the individual exam scheduler. It's what you use to schedule your test center exams, and it's also what you'll use to schedule your remote exams. Now, let me describe the process for scheduling a remote exam. So one of these exams that we see listed here in the dashboard is an RHCSA exam, which is available both as a testing center exam and as a remote exam. Okay, so if you were to select that exam, this is where you have the ability to choose. Do you want testing center or do you want a remote exam? You make your choice. Once you've made your choice, The type gets set and it appears at the top. The scheduler used the time zone in the candidate's browser by default, but the time zone can be reset if, for example, the candidate expects to be in a different time zone at the time of the exam. Please note that it's also possible to go back, okay? And so if you go back, you're right back at the screen that's going to allow you to choose whether you want to do testing center or remote. Okay, so let's say you do want to go through with having your remote exam. You choose continue and you move on. That puts you into the calendar where basically you look for an available date and time that works for you. The difference really between remote exams and a testing center exam is that you never chose a location because there isn't one, or at least not in the sense of a testing center. You're the location. It's really all about the time and date here. Once you've done that, you see your information and you reserve your time. All right, so now back in your dashboard, you've scheduled your exam. Now, one of the things that's important to understand here is that you actually have the option of changing the type. You can switch to the other type of delivery. So let's say, for example, that you find that your home network is really not stable enough to deliver the remote exam. Or maybe your family is too noisy, you have pets, whatever. You will choose to take a testing center exam again. You do have the option here of being able to say, I want to change the type. And when you do that, you go right back to this screen where you have the ability to choose among the types. So that's about it for scheduling. There's been a lot of interest in our roadmap for other certification exams. When will they be available? The important thing to know is that each release of each exam requires its own separate porting effort to make it available. So here are the broad guidelines that we're going to use to decide how we make the rest of the exam catalog available. First of all, anytime we create a new exam, it will always have remote delivery as an option. If we have an existing exam that we're updating for a new release, when we do that, that new release will have remote delivery as an option. Most existing exams are going to be made available for remote delivery, and we might not wait until we're updating them to do that. We're going to undertake a porting effort. So porting will be prioritized based on the number of eligibility records we already have in the scheduler. We want to serve that backlog of customers who have been unable to take exams recently because of closures of testing centers. Okay. A few exams that are no longer available for purchase will also be ported. Why? Well, we want to serve the customers who, purchased these exams, enrolled in them, and haven't been able to take them. Some exams might get ported sooner than their volume would suggest because there might be a strategic reason for bumping it ahead in the line. And sometimes we'll port an exam a bit out of sequence simply because a specialist on the development teams might be available to work on a particular exam and has the particular skills needed. And we're going to just try to be opportunistic in our use of time and try to get as many exams available as soon as possible. Now, the thing to understand too, though, is that porting efforts have to be balanced with new exam development and other projects that we're doing in the service of the program and customers. So those are the broad outlines. Look for news as we go into the future here with remote exams, and you'll see that we will have a steady cadence of new and existing exams coming out available using remote delivery. So here we have a number of resources that you might find available if you want to find out more, if you have customers who have questions, if you want to direct people to additional information. So please take advantage of these. And thank you for your interest in Red Hat certification and remote exams.